welcome to tonight's recap of So You Think You Can Dance.
Alright, so no one was sent home last week. Shock, horror.
Alright, so the judges this week, Nigel Lithgow.
Mary Murphy.
I had to make sure I was saying the right Nigel this time. And Debbie Reynolds.
Legs up.
I wish I had a fake leg that I could lift.
I know. Alright, so you may know Debbie Reynolds or you may not know her from Singing in the Rain, her finest work.
So they showed a little clip from the movie and I was just like,
But what you might not know is the true Hollywood story of Debbie crying under a grand piano because Gene Kelly said, well,
upright.
How could you be under
Gene
an
Kelly
upright?
was pissed off at her because she was not a dancer before this movie.
She was only a singer.
And he had to teach her and he was frustrated and
he's a perfectionist.
He was not kind to her.
Fred Astaire had to scoop her out from underneath the piano and help her out with some of her moves out of the goodness of his heart.
And then we got Singing in the Rain.
Exactly. So that's the true Hollywood story.
Love it.
Alright, so Ryan and Mickey started off the show with their jazz routine by Mandy Moore. Now, they were touting this as being so sexy and dirty and blah, blah, blah.
Well, it would have been if they had a connection.
Yeah. I thought it was well danced, but Ryan's faces were just so scary.
And she was just like...
playing to the audience the whole time.
I felt like there wasn't really a connection.
All right.
So that was kind of disappointing.
She ripped her crotch, though. And supposedly her boob popped out. I didn't see that part, but that's what Debbie says.
I thought there was a lot of potential.
Yeah.
In that routine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Next up was Caitlin and Mitchell, and this is the first time we got to see Mitchell because he was injured last week.
That's right. They did a contemporary by Stacey Tukey.
Yeah, the concept was she wants out of the relationship, but she can't get out.
Right.
I can't get out!
I thought it was really fantastic.
I loved it.
There was some crazy leaps by her. And she even got punched in the face.
Yeah, this was one of my favorites of the night.
If you get punched in the face and draw blood, you should automatically not be in the bottom.
It's like uglying yourself up for an Oscar.
Exactly. Alright, Missy and Waddy were up next with a cha-cha, choreographed by Jean-Marc Jeanneret.
Yes.
Maddie says the technique was bad.
Guys, they weren't doing the lock steps right, and that's like really important for cha-cha.
Yeah. They were all going crazy for her, including Mary Murphy, and I was like, really?
Well, she was way better than Waddy was. Let's put it that way.
Okay. But Dancing with the Stars? No. I don't think so. There was so many contradictions this episode. Alright, Iveta and Nick were up next with their Bollywood. Nikul Dev Mahajan.
Alright, Nick was totally rocking the guy liner.
That's an A+. He should get extra points for that because it is painful if you're a guy and you're not used to sticking that in your eye.
Now on to the dancing.
It was okay.
I thought they did a good job, but it could have had a little more energy.
I was really disappointed. I wasn't really disappointed, but I mean I was disappointed because usually Bollywood is never a stinker on this show.
Yeah, usually during the Bollywood routines I'm like...
I know, how did they do that? That's so sharp. But I was expecting so much more and I didn't get it. So I was a little disappointed with all that. Alright, Miranda and Robert up next with their hip-hop nappy tabs.
Yep.
She's a baby woodpecker learning how to fly, and they're dancing to Busta Rhymes' dirty old song.
Mary was worried because she said when the dancers try to imitate animals on this show, sometimes it doesn't go so well.
I don't know about that. I can't remember what does that mean? Imitation going bad, but it was okay. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
She fell out of her
I thought
front
Miranda
flip.
did a really good job considering she's a contemporary dancer.
Yeah, I mean, Debbie even did her Woody Woodpecker for it, so...
That's something.
Debbie was a little animated tonight, let's just say.
Leg up!
You know, I was a little disappointed with the judges' critiques this entire season. I mean, last week's show was really good, and this week's show I don't think was as good as last week's in general.
Yeah, because last week everyone had their own style.
Right. But this week it was like the judges didn't think anybody was bad except for Waddy. Just saying. Alright, Clarice and Jess up next with their Contemporary by Stacey Tukey.
Well, they weren't that happy with this one.
Yeah. He was the prince, and she was Kate Middleton.
Oh, how
it was royal wedding.
William and Catherine.
I know, Wills and Kate. I didn't really get the story on this one.
I didn't see it play out in the dance.
I don't know whether that was the fault of the choreography
or the connection.
But I thought they danced it really well.
I loved that song too. I need to look it
Yeah.
up because it was beautiful.
I mean, in rehearsal, he was kind of suffering on the lifts because he's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
But
He's
it
just
didn't
little
really
Frankie
show. I
Valli.
mean, I guess he sucked it up during the performance.
I guess so.
All right, Jordan and Tad up next with a Viennese waltz.
Also choreographed by Jean-Marc.
Love him. All right, this was a Viennese waltz.
What?
There was if this was on Dancing with the Stars,
Len would have been like, there wasn't enough Viennese waltz in that.
exactly. What they were given though, I thought they danced it okay, except that
What was with Jordan's posture? She had her butt way out. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling that.
and Rise and Fall.
Nigel
really?
was all like, I love the rise and fall. There's supposed to be a very minimal, subtle amount of rise and fall in Viennese waltz.
Yeah.
And I would know because I got yelled at because of it.
Right. Debbie, Maddie was screaming, Debbie, don't do it, don't do it. She actually compared them to Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and Sid Charisse. I don't know how
Debbie, don't do this.
how Tad ended up being two guys, and
Well, she just means like,
in general.
yeah.
Okay.
Debbie, those are my people. Don't do that.
I know you're cheapening it, Debbie. Don't do it.
All right. Well, next up, Melanie and Marco with a jazz number choreographed by Mandy Moore.
All right. Let's get this straight. They are the dream team. Definitely, but
And
I
I
was
was totally
disappointed
pumped
with
for this routine
Me too.
because
Me
it's
too.
like old school meets new school.
Exactly. They're both great. I mean, there's no denying it.
And
but
it started
the
off
routine,
great, but
yeah.
then kind of got a little sloppy.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was that I didn't like the choreography or because I'm sure they were more than capable. I don't know. All right, Sasha and Alexander, or is it Sasha? Sorry,
Sasha. Sasha.
I was British for a moment there.
All right. Well, it was a Nappy Tabs hip hop.
Right, Soja returning.
Soldier.
That's how I say it. All right, so I thought it was excellent. Best of the night.
This was one of my top faves.
Yeah, and
loved
Debbie
it.
was all like, oh my God, you were like dancing and then you were acting and it was just so... Debbie, please, they don't let you get out often, do they?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I love Debbie Reynolds, don't get
Debbie.
me wrong, I know. Ashley and Chris closed the show.
All right.
With their Broadway by Spencer Liff. She's visiting her man in jail. And you know what? I absolutely love the movie that this song comes from, Cry Baby with Johnny
Bunch
Depp.
of high school Hellcats running around.
Exactly. Love the movie. If you haven't seen it, go look it up.
It's a must-see.
You have to see it. It's required.
It's pretty much always on, what is it, like Oxygen?
Yeah.
One of those women channels.
Exactly. Or We. Yeah, she's visiting her man in jail. The choreography was great, but the performance was really kind of ruined for me. With the
How's that?
TV camera work. I mean, if they had just shown it straight on for the most part, it would have been more authentic and believable to me, but they kept showing it from like both sides of the jail bars.
Well, Mother. That's because this was a performance for TV, and in the TV world, they make many, many cuts because the viewers get bored.
I guess,
same
but I
angle.
would have liked to have seen the same angle on that
And
one.
I know, but
Or at least wide shots and,
that's just
you know.
how it is in the TV world.
All right, Chris was amazing on the bars, too. He had unreal
It was
control.
like a gymnastics meet.
Pretty much. And Debbie, honey, it's not Jailhouse Rock, honey. No.
Debbie, it's Cry
I know.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll let it
Debbie
go.
was a little confused,
We'll
but
let
it
it
was
go.
the end of the second hour, so.
Baby. We love you, Debbie.
Exactly. Who's in danger?
I don't know.
I think definitely Clarice and Jess, just because, not that they were bad, it's just the audience doesn't feel them.
I really hope that Jess can pull through with his solo because I want to see more.
Yeah, and I think maybe Missy and Waddy, too, because Waddy got that bad review.
Yeah, it's going to be
So,
interesting because
I don't know
there's
who the third one's going to be.
3 couples in the bottom, but 2 are going home this week.
Yeah, it's going to be really sad. So 4 dancers are going home tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on pins and needles already. So kids, till tomorrow night, much love.